Did not miss a thing.
Hardly on time, but never late. What is the issue?
I'm just having a couple of internet problems here.
It's 2018. Internet shouldn't be so hard to come by.
We're doing what we can. Hopefully we can fix the problems here. We're back on though. We're back on YouTube. Woo, YouTube. We're back on YouTube. We'll be back on here on Facebook here in just a moment. But we are back on YouTube. Sort of.
We're YouTubers. We're famous.
$28-3. Oh, well, looks like they're having some problems of their own here on the bar. Maybe there's some issues. Maybe there's some issues here just in and around the bar. Sorry, guys, for all the technical difficulties. It is difficult.
I noticed that the Wi-Fi on my phone was having some issues too.
Yeah. You know, YouTube went down. YouTube crashed yesterday.
YouTube crashes.
It freaked everybody out. It was down for like 8 hours.
Just YouTube not working. Like, couldn't watch movies, couldn't watch a video on it.
Couldn't watch anything. Couldn't stream music.
Were they hacked?
No, I don't think they were hacked.
I didn't realize that could happen to YouTube.
All right, well, hopefully they'll get this little message off the screen here.
Well, the one on my phone here started working again, so hopefully it comes back up for everybody.
Yes. Hopefully. This thing is being a cunt. That's what it's being.
Hey, don't say that.
Don't say what?
That word.
You said that word on like the last broadcast.
No, I didn't.
You absolutely did.
I probably said it, but not on the broadcast.
Oh, you said it on the broadcast.
I'm a gentleman and a scholar. Ooh,
You're
Pizza
a
Hut.
gentleman and a scholar.
Pizza Hut is so good. Do you know Peter Jackson? You know Lord of the Rings guy, Peter Jackson, right?
I know Peter Jackson. Well, I mean, I don't know him, but I know of Peter Jackson.
Did you see his new film coming out?
What's his new film?
So he took World War I footage and pictures
Yes.
and remastered it in high def.
Okay.
And he's made a documentary about World War I. It looks incredible.
Just because it's in high def?
When have you ever seen World War I in high def? You haven't.
I mean, Saving Private Ryan.
Was World War II?
Oh, there it is. There's the giant
you.
pretzel with chocolate and cheese.
Plate's really hot.
I'm going to take a piece of that.
You're going to get me some napkins first. What you gonna
I
do?
don't know where the napkins
There they
are.
are. It's behind the tripod.
I see. Over here.
We all need some help sometimes. I didn't need like 3 sets.
You didn't need 3 sets of silverware with your napkins? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I said I didn't.
You didn't. You didn't need that.
Surprisingly, I don't need 3 forks.
Oh, okay. My bad.
That's the thought that counts. I appreciate that.
You're, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking of you. in all things that I do. See, everybody can see your pretzel right there on the screen.
Well, that's because you can see it from space.
It's huge. All right, well, some clock issues there for Josh Rosen. He says he's having some technical issues of his own. Who is Arizona's coach? Name him.
Oh, I couldn't.
No one knows. No one knows. No one has any idea. No one knows who the Arizona head coach is.
Do you know?
No, I don't. I just saw him on screen, and I'm like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I know that's somebody, but
I kind of vaguely know what he looks like at this point. I don't know his name.
I just learned what he looks like.
He's
As soon as I read it, I'm going to kick myself for not remembering.
He's a poor man's Vance Joseph, which is a
Stephen Wilkes.
Stephen Wilkes. No way. I promise you, if you surveyed 1 million people in Denver, 4 might know who Stephen Wilkes is. 4. There is nothing about the Arizona Cardinals that anybody likes other than Larry Fitzgerald, and some people like Josh Rosen. Some people.
I'm a big fan of their stadium. They should play every Super Bowl there.
And there's a sack.
Yeah, this game is absolutely going to ruin the Broncos fan base.
It is. It really is. It's going to make people believe in something that they shouldn't believe in. Mm-hmm. It's going to make people think that this is real.
Pat Mahomes is going to hurt you.
They're going to win against the Cardinals by 30. And then they're going to go into Arrowhead Stadium. And Patrick Mahomes is going to just going to, seriously. I mean, Bradley Roby may not be a person after that game. He may just be a figment of everyone's imagination. Chris is saying, are y'all back on? We're kind of back on. We're back on YouTube, trying to get things going here. Sorry about that, guys. We're trying to get things back up and running. My apologies for all of our technical difficulties. We're trying to stream here to Facebook as well, but all right, let's see here. Case Keenum fakes the handoff. That's the best play action I've ever seen Case Keenum do in a Broncos uniform. And then tries to get it out to Demaryius Thomas, cannot do so.
Now, does that count as a drop?
Yeah. I think it does. I want to see. Well, they're probably not going to replay that because it was kind of a nothing play, but I couldn't tell if the defender got a hand on it or not. It may have changed the trajectory. Chris, please tell everyone that we're on YouTube. I would appreciate that. Philip Lindsay, see, that cut, man, that outside cut of his is just lethal. He goes lateral so fast.
I really can't believe only 2 teams were interested in him. It's just the Broncos and Ravens.
That's crazy. I mean, in hindsight, it's ridiculous that Philip Lindsay went on draft. I mean, it's of the misses, of the great misses. It's like Warren Moon, Kurt Warner, Terrell Davis, Priest Holmes.
Well, it starts with Tom Brady.
Yeah, but he got drafted. I'm talking about undrafted. No one drafted you.
One of those guys you listed got drafted.
Who got drafted?
Kurt Warner get drafted like the 12th round?
No. Kurt Warner did not get drafted. Kurt Warner got picked up as undrafted free
I know
agent.
he was working at Hy-Vee and all that.
Right. But he got picked up as an undrafted free agent by the Packers for 2 weeks. And he threw, because I remember him talking about how he threw 3 passes in Packers practice. And he's like, how are they supposed to evaluate me? I've been here for 2 weeks. I threw 3 passes. What chance do I have? And so, nobody gave him a shot. But, Philip Lindsay is legitimately, he is at least a top 15 running back in the league right now, production-wise. Top 15 running back in the league?
Yeah.
And he went undrafted?
I said it at the time. I said when he was at CU, I said he's going to be great.
It's just his lateral motion. How did no one see that on film? How did no one look at that and be like, man, this guy can go east and west just as good as he can go north and south? Keenum on 3rd and 5. Can't get the screen pass out to Devontae Booker. 4th down.
It's not what we needed for the over. It's not good.
What's the over?
42.5.
Well, you're going to need the Cardinals to score some points. I mean, you're halfway there. Quit being greedy.
No. No, I've watched enough sports to know.
You are halfway there. You don't need... Oh, thanks, Eric. Thank you very much for joining us here on YouTube. Chris, thank you very much for spreading the word. You are the man. Chris is the fucking man. I just want... And look, Chris, I'm going to buy you a beer. If you ever come to Denver or if I ever go to Dallas, and I'm pretty sure I'll be in Dallas at some point, I am buying you a beer,
why?
sir. Dallas?
Uh-huh.
Dallas is a fun city.
No.
Dallas is not a fun city to drive in, but if you situate yourself somewhere, like if you can go to West Side in Dallas, it's that whole area down there where the bars are, it's just west of where the big fucking orb thing is. That whole area down there is really nice. I like Dallas. There's some nice spots in Arlington. They got Six Flags. Driving in Dallas is shit. Driving in Dallas, it's different than LA. LA is congestion. That's the problem in LA. The problem in Dallas is that people want to fucking murder you.
So when you think of quality cities, you think of whether or not they have a Six Flags?
No.
That's one of the things you listed.
It is one of the things I listed, but it's not like...
That's what you're looking for in a city.
Well, if that was what they were looking for, St. Louis would be a destination town.
Well, the schools are great, the housing market's in a good shape, and they got a Six Flags.
They got a Six Flags. I was telling my wife this the other day that, for small, very small towns, if you're the town you live in has 45,000 people in it, or that's the range you're in, 50K. The marker for when you've reached the next level of city is when you get an Olive Garden, and that's the marker. I remember because I grew up in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
I knew you were going to say something stupid, and it was stupider than I thought it would be.
I grew up in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and I remember there was a line around the block when they opened up an Olive Garden. It's like, what's everybody so excited about, Mom? Oh, the Olive Garden opened up. Olive Garden? What's Olive Garden?
Well, did you see the pictures from Nova Scotia?
No.
The legalized weed in Canada?
Oh, I knew that. I knew that was going to be a big deal.
So in Canada, here in Denver, in Colorado, they have dispensaries where they sell weed. In Canada, they're selling them out of liquor stores.
Really?
And so this liquor store has a line a half mile long.
Yeah.
And they're somebody was somebody's like, I feel bad for the people in there who are trying to buy some beer. And they're like, it's 11 a.m. If you're buying liquor, you don't have anywhere to be. which is true.
Yeah. By the way, Chris says pretty serious flooding happening in and around Austin and Central Texas. I did not know that. Is it just from the rain? Is it?
Yeah, the flooding is from the rain. Jesus. I mean,
I'm not trying to be insensitive.
Could
I'm
be
just
the
saying,
aliens.
no, like a dam could have broken. Like there's all kinds of things that could happen to cause flooding.
No, there's not. There's like one thing that causes flooding, and it's rain.
I mean, hurricanes don't usually get into Austin. Like there has to be a lot of rain.
Yeah, bro, it's on the edge of the desert. They get flash flooding pretty bad.
They get flash floods. I know that. I'm just.
Is that the rain?
I was trying to bring it up because it's important, and I want people to know about it.
Well, we all know about it now. We all know where it comes from.
You're welcome, and I apologize.
You're the guy who's like...
I know, I'm sorry.
There's like a blizzard, and there's like 3 feet of snow. Is this from the snow?
Is this from the...
Is this winter?
What happened? Is this from the temperature drop? Okay, so other comments here. Nice pass by Rosen finally. What are you talking about, Eric? I think a lot of his passes have been good. I think that his
a lot of his passes have been really good. The dude has a gun. He's not, his accuracy is a little sketchy after about 15 yards downfield, but he has the gun, he has the eyes, and he has the footwork, which is the important thing. But right now he's being let down by everybody else on the Cardinals team. He has no time to throw. He has no time to make his reads. Nobody out there is catching the ball other than Larry Fitzgerald, who I'm sure is being blanketed.
Dave saying what up? What's up from Australia? Thank you very much, Dave. Eric says, hey, we've had nonstop rain for days, and it's still going.
Weird. So it was the rain.
I said a dumb thing.
Yeah, you did.
I'm gonna own it. I said a dumb thing. I'm sorry.
It's my job to tell others.
But I want you to know, you are my witness. If I say something stupid,
yeah, you'll cop to it? Yeah,
I will
sure.
cop to it. That was a stupid thing to say. I apologize to everyone in Central Texas. I hope everything is okay. Chris says Tropical Storm Harvey made it to Austin last year.
I watched Missouri play Alabama in a tropical storm once.
Chris says I live in Austin, not Dallas. Okay, all right.
No Six Flags in Austin. He might want to look at moving.
Austin's a cool town. Outside of Denver and Fayetteville, Arkansas, Austin is one of the 3 cities that is very consistently inside the top 5 best places to live in America by U.S. News.
Really?
That's right.
I mean, I can see a lot of things to like about Austin, but I can also see a lot of things that would make it tough for me to enjoy living there.
For sure.
I think summer in Texas is a deal breaker.
It's not that bad.
It is that bad, and I think
it's not as humid as it is over in Louisiana and Mississippi and Alabama.
Well, I was in Houston in June. That was tough.
Yes. You were where?
I was in Houston in June.
Okay.
That was a tough place to be.
Well, Houston gets some funky weather sometimes. They'll get really bad hail. Obviously, there's some hurricane issues that they have at times, but they'll get hailstorms out of nowhere. There it is. Case Keenum hits Matt Lacoste for a first down. This offense. And in hindsight, seeing Von Miller say we're going to kick their ass, I mean, they must have looked at the film and said, like,
that was one of those things. They're there watching film, and they're like, "Woo, we cannot wait till Thursday."
That's right.
Yeah, I've read that actually. Like high major college football coaches and NFL coaches, they know if their team is going to win by a lot.
Oh yeah.
Before the game starts.
Right. Phil Lindsay gets 6 yards there just by falling forward. That is true. I mean, if you know you're going to destroy a team, you really know.
Yeah, you know it beforehand. I mean, you watch a little bit of film and you're like, man, that looks like something we can exploit. I'm sure they cover it up later in the game, or I'm sure they have some packages that'll take this away from us. And then you get there, it's like, oh, it's still there. We can still do this. We're suited to take advantage of this.
Devontae Booker in the backfield. And, shovel pass there to Booker, and he's going to lose a yard. They brought the blitz from the secondary.
That's what happens when you think you're Andy Reid. Musgrave needs to stick to the script.
Bill Musgrave does a lot of things wrong. I feel like that really frustrates me. But at the same time, I also feel like at times, his play design, like the actual, like the guts of a play.
The map.
Yeah, those are pretty good. But his game strategy, I question a lot of times. His play selection, I question a lot of times. But, the way he maps out a play is still pretty sophisticated at times.
Well, there's.
Oh, there goes Case Keenum on the.
There's so many levels to coaching. There's
scrambling for a first down.
There's scouting. There's game planning, and then there's reacting to what happens.
Let's see here. Danny Sayed says the score is giving me Super Bowl flashbacks.
Same. It's a good Super Bowl.
Eric says, come on, Arizona, at least make the game competitive. I hate blowouts.
Honestly,
Me
seriously.
too, Eric.
I do want to see this game become something, or else I'm going to have to watch the Red Sox and Astros on the far TV.
Chris says, now that the Longhorns are good again, Austin is great.
Austin's a really interesting town historically.
A lot of condos in Austin.
With the University of Texas and then also the sniper from the 60s. Texas has a lot going on. Austin has a lot going on historically. And there's some Old West stuff down there. Interesting city.
Let's see. Thursday Night Football on Fox is way better than it was on CBS.
Is it? It's about the same.
I don't know. It's.
I will say this, though. One thing I've noticed is...
Do you like Joe Buck?
I'm indifferent on Joe Buck. I'm totally indifferent on Joe Buck. And I say that as somebody who, was as scrutinizing of him as anybody in the 2014 World Series, and now somebody who's also a professional commentator. Like, I'm really indifferent on Joe Buck. His style is his own. It wouldn't work for others. I think sometimes he's a little too monotone for my taste. At
Eric
times.
says uncross your legs. Come on, bro.
I'm just getting comfortable watching football.
Clearly.
This is where we are. This is the point of the game we've reached, where we cross our legs.
Right. I think it may be the massive amount of thigh you are showing to the camera.
The camera likes it. All right, Eric. If you can't control your lust.
You were really showing off some thigh there. I mean,
that's all we want people to do.
It is a lot of thigh. It is. It's a good thigh.
You ought to see soccer players' legs.
I've seen soccer players' legs. They're absurd.
It's ridiculous. It'll be the littlest person.
Who was it? Who? I think it was one of the Tour de France bikers, cyclists, who he tweeted out a picture of his leg, and it was like just covered in veins.
And it was after he did like 27 days or something.
It was insane what his leg looked like.
Yeah. Well, that's all the drugs.
The drugs
that's
and
all
the dehydration and let's see. Joe Buck has a hot wife. All right, thanks, Chris. Chris says he's showing a lot of knee. It's the knee that he has a problem with.
That's just fashion. You argue with that, you need to argue with Paris. You need to argue with Milan. I don't make the rules.
Deza says, what's up? This is G. What's up?
What up, G?
What's up, G? Guys, thanks for watching. Please share this feed. I know that we were on Facebook. We're now just on YouTube. We're trying to make sure we get this feed up and staying.
We're really
up.
sticking it to Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
If he wants our interaction, he's got to build a good website instead of one that lies about pivoting to video.
I feel a little bit like I would like to say you can't have my data, but he already has all my data. Like,
well, the other thing
I
is,
missed
like,
the boat on that.
The other thing is, even if you didn't give it to him, somebody else who has it has sold it to him.
Right.
Like Android, they've given away your data. So it's really what it is.
They have everybody's data.
Yeah, everybody's.
Everybody.
And everyone's phones now with face scanners.
The face scanner?
The Face ID.
Oh, from Apple.
Android has them too.
I don't know what the future of that looks like 20 years from now. Because it's not going to be 5 years from now. It's not going to be 3 years from now. I think a decade from now, that's going to come back to haunt us.
I think what...
screen pass there to Philip Lindsay, who is going to get a first down.
Some good blocking.
First down on 3rd and 5. And Keenum just kept backtracking until he finally let that screen open up.
I saw somebody who thinks the future of cell phones will be in your forearm.
I've seen that. Oh, just pathetic. Just pathetic reaction to that screen.
Oh, the Cardinals are terrible.
Did you see how slow? I mean, the defensive lineman just like turned around and saw that Philip Lindsay was out of reach and just stopped. He just quit.
I mean,
he was like, ugh.
You only have so many miles on these legs. Case Keenum under pressure, is
not good. He cannot. He has, once he loses his center of gravity and like his base, nothing on the arm.
Yeah. He's like a boat. When your boat's on dry land, your boat's not rocking. And then when you put it in the ocean, it rocks back and forth. That's Case Keenum.
Yeah. Let's see. Eric says Lindsay is a monster, man. Yeah, he is, dude.
Incredible.
Like we were talking about that earlier. How did he go undrafted? It just baffles me. Because his lateral motion is as impressive as anyone's in the league. I just, when he makes that lateral cut, it is very difficult for anyone to catch him.
The only thing I can think of is, you know how NFL GMs in their war rooms, they usually know where guys are going to go. They usually have a pretty good idea. I think when the narrative within the war rooms, within the front offices of teams decided that Philip Lindsay was going undrafted, everyone was like, all right, well, we'll give him a call after the draft.
Right.
Even though I think other teams knew he probably was better than that, but they're like, well, let's not use a pick if we don't have to.
Right.
Because that happens all the time.
Sure.
Somebody gets slotted into something and then they stay there.
Right. All right, let's see if we can't improve things here, guys.
Taking risks.
Actually, you know what? We may just we'll wait till halftime. We'll wait till halftime to make some changes, guys. So just to give you a heads up, we may go offline for just a second if we have to start a new broadcast. We apologize for that, but we're going to try to up the quality of this thing here in just a moment.
Drop play, run it.
3rd and 11. Nope. Play action, which was crap.
That's a great ball.
Straight out to Demaryius Thomas. That was a good throw.
That play action didn't fool anybody, but that's a great ball.
Once again, that's the difference between Case Keenum when he sets his feet versus Case Keenum when he's on the run and when he can't set his feet.
You know, when I played quarterback in high school, I'd say about half our playbook involved on the run. And we ran a zone read offense.
Yeah.
But you always had to be moving on the run. You know, one of our base plays was flood right.
Are they going to say he was out? 1st and goal here.
Get a chance to look at it.
Keenum drops back, throws right down the middle of the field, touchdown. Okay. Touchdown to Jeff Hireman. Oh, and a flag.
This is how you know this game is a sham, because a Broncos tight end did something.
That is a very good indicator. I said I thought this game was going to feel a lot like the Thursday night football game against the Colts last season.
He pushed.
Oh, they're going to take that off the board. Yep. Hireman got called for the push-off.
Boy, he owes me money.
It was pretty blatant. He was about to help you hit the over there.
Yeah, he owes me money now. He's a cheater. We were about to be one touchdown away from cashing.
There's Mr. Wilkes.
Are you sure? You don't even know what he looks like.
I don't even know.
You can't positively
That
ID him.
might be the Arizona coach. I don't know for sure.
Is he the least recognizable NFL coach?
Yes, he is. He's the least recognizable coach. If you showed me a picture of that guy,
Do you know what Reich looks like for the Colts?
Not really. Not Frank Reich. Not really.
He looks like an old white guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I could ID him in a lineup.
Who's the former Clinton administration financial? He was the head of something. He's a little person. It's something Reich.
When you say little person, do you mean like a dwarf? You're using
like
the
a dwarf.
PC term for dwarf?
Yeah.
I don't know. Peter Dinklage. That's the only little person I know.
It's something like maybe it's Richard Reich.
The guy from Badass. What's Dumbass? What's the movie with Jackass?
Wee Man.
It's Jackass.
You thinking
That's
of
what
Wee
it is.
Man?
It's not Badass. It's not Dumbass. It's Jackass.
Let's see. Looks like the tight end pushed off. He did, Chris. You're absolutely right.
Well,
Yeah, Eric says he didn't know that Philip Lindsay was undrafted. He was, and it's kind of astonishing. It really
you're going to
is.
get sick of learning how undrafted he was as he continues to be great
right.
because it's going to be the first thing mentioned for the next
right.
10 years on broadcasts.
Of
Undrafted Philip Lindsay.
undrafted running backs who ended up being phenomenal.
He's
He's
in.
close.
He's
There
in.
it is. He's touchdown.
He's in.
Yep, touchdown.
Royce Freeman, touchdown vulture.
They got it back. He stole Jeff Hireman's touchdown.
And
From-
Case Keenum's. Case Keenum needs those
He
touchdowns.
does.
Because at the end of the year, when we come back and look at Case Keenum's stats,
That's right.
he's going to wish he had that.
You're right. You're like, he had 4 touchdowns.
Emmanuel Sanders
and
has taken a
20 interceptions. How did that happen?
Emmanuel Sanders, touchdown vulture. He took one of his passing
He
touchdowns
did.
away, and now
He
Royce
did.
Freeman's taking one away.
Case Keenum's over here like, come on, man. What do I got to do here?
That's the one good thing about baseball. Nobody can take anything away from a hitter.
Nope.
You get your one-on-one, and you
It's
make the
your
most of it.
home run. It is your. If Terrence Gore ever hits a home run,
It's his.
It is his home run.
There's no RBI
No
vulture in
one's
baseball.
taking it away. And it
McManus.
is 35 to 3. This is an absolute rout. As Thursday night football games often are routes.
That's because some of the teams are bad. We should also point out that the Avalanche won 5-3 over the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, after losing to the Rangers the other night, which, in a shootout, I didn't realize that the shootouts had been reduced to 3 goals because, hockey has been hidden on NBC Sports for a decade. So nobody watches it.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that. I thought it was still 5 goals like it was in soccer.
I mean, you could have told me that it was 5 or 3, and I would have believed you. I didn't know it had changed.
And also, they came away with a point from a loss in overtime.
That's how that works. If you go to overtime, the loser gets a point for
Gets
going
a point.
to OT.
Yeah, see,
I don't like how hockey is. You win, you only get 2. That's not right.
Yeah, it's weird. It's strange. The point system in hockey doesn't really matter that much. It's a weird point system.
Why doesn't it matter?
The point system in soccer makes perfect sense to me.
Soccer's it's a touchy subject with Americans. You got to be careful.
Nah, but the system works. It really does.
I think it properly rewards the effort. If you win, 3 points is proper. If you draw, 1 point is good. And if you lose, you get nothing.
Sure.
But sometimes after 90 minutes, neither team has won.
Let's see, Eric says if you're talking about the Boston game, that wasn't interference. Fans never reached out past the wall. It was not interference. I did not think it was fan interference, but that's what Major League Baseball called it.
I don't think I was talking. What were we talking about that one?
I mean, but we were talking about baseball.
Yeah, that was a crap call. That was terrible. That was a terrible call.
That was a bad call. That was a bad call.
It's Joe West, and Major League Baseball's review system is wonky and doesn't make sense. There's no accountability for it.
All right, it is halftime, and Josh Rosen walks off to a bunch of boos because the home team is losing by 32 points. 32.
That's something. You take Case Keenum out. One more drive.
Well, no.
Well, here's the thing.
No, you never do that in a football, in an NFL game.
Here's the thing. If Case Keenum gets hurt, who's the quarterback?
Chad Kelly.
Right. Who's the backup?
The backup to Chad Kelly?
If Case Keenum, let's say Case Keenum rolls his ankle and doesn't dress.
Do they have a backup?
I'm asking you. I'm saying that's why I don't think it's a dumb proposition. I think it's the prudent thing to do. Who is the backup if Chad Kelly has to start?
Who is their third quarterback?
The fact that you don't know says a lot.
I don't know who their third quarterback is. We have not spoken of the third quarterback since Paxton Lynch got cut. Because it doesn't matter.
It does matter because Case Keenum is injury prone, and if Case Keenum were to miss a game, that guy would dress. And would be a heartbeat away. And we don't know who he is. And that's kind of weird for a football crazed town like Denver.
Yeah.
Just not know.
Sure. All right. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to try to get us back up on Facebook here for the second half. See if this works. Boom. Boom. Sending the stream. We're sending the stream to Facebook.
Oh, he's doing it. I think we need more to drink.
Yeah, I think we do. I think we absolutely do. Huh? Same thing I did last time. Oh. Yeah, well, I think you should have been faster. She just kind of ran off. I don't know.
I was the one who said we need more to drink. Does she not know I finished this brewski over here?
No, I don't think she did. I don't think she knew that.
Ugh. Tough.
I just so my wife is out of town, as is her mother.
So you're gonna eat like meatball subs and play video games?
That's exactly right. I'm just gonna sit in my underpants on the couch.
You and the dog gonna get after it?
Yeah.
Play a little Halo.
No, my father-in-law just texted me and said the wives are out of town. We should go hit weed for less. He's in Kansas City, so he's a little far away, but he's all about it. He's all about that single man life. At this point,
Did you respond? I'll get the gummies and be right over.
That's right. All right, so this game is a rout. So, what do you want to talk about?
Not religion.
What's the halftime conversation you would like to have? I've already had a very long conversation today with Joshua Briscoe about the fact that I will not forgive Tyreek Hill, and he's upset about it.
This could be a good conversation.
I'm not going to forgive. I'm like, it's, everybody keeps saying, hey, don't judge others too harshly unless you want to be judged. And I would say, in response to that, I have never punched and choked a pregnant woman. So I will judge as much as I want on Tyreek Hill.
Here's the thing. I think there are some acts, I think there are some crimes that are unforgivable. And I think it comes down to a personal preference.
It really does.
And there are people out there who think drunk driving is unforgivable. And if someone gets a DUI, they're forever changed in their eyes.
And that's in many ways experiential, and I understand that.
And that can be based on something that's happened to them in their life. And I think that's a valid thing too. But I think if anybody out there says they don't want to forgive Tyreek Hill for choking and punching a pregnant woman, who he's now engaged to,
right?
I think that's totally fair. I think that's totally fine because
yeah, and look, I've kind of I honestly I think based off of the details of that case, he should be in prison, but he's not, and the laws are what they are. But at the very least, I think that you can agree that if you really want to change the culture of something, as certainly as the culture surrounding domestic violence, you shouldn't reward people who commit it at an extreme level the way that he did, with millions and millions of dollars. And it's not necessarily the money, it's the praise. It is the social praise that Tyreek Hill gets on a daily basis that really, really bothers me.
Yeah.
And when people try to hide behind redemption and forgiveness as a reason, I
think there's a flaw in the whole redemption theory. I think the flaw is that people can be redeemed back to their 100% whole self that they were before,
sure,
as if the mark is washed away when it never is. That's not how redemption works, at least outside of the various faiths. But
right.
Socially, there's no reason why redemption means anything goes away.
Right.
It's not like you forget that Tyreek Hill did this. Nobody in Kansas City's forgotten that he did this.
Right.
They just choose to say, well, he hasn't done it since, and he's really fast.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. And then I think there are also people out there that are well-intentioned, and they're more likely to extend the benefit of the doubt.
Sure.
And I think that plays a role. And they come out and they say, well, he seems like a good person now. May have just made a mistake when he was younger.
Yeah.
Whereas I think it's totally fair to look at certain mistakes and hold them over somebody's head for a lifetime.
Yeah, and look, prior to 1993, O.J. Simpson seemed like a really nice guy.
Right.
But behind the scenes,
and
I'm talking prior to the murder, prior to any of that stuff. I'm saying O.J. Simpson, in the public eye, was perceived as not only a nice guy, but the nicest of guys. He was perceived as somebody who was an upstanding person to be revered, not just for his play on the field, but as an individual.
He was good at branding.
And he was beating his wife the whole time.
Yeah.
And, that's the thing that I think people need to remember when you start to say, oh, well, but look at all the good things that he does. And it's like, yeah, but, you don't know what he's doing behind the scenes, and you don't know how likely he is to repeat the offense that he already did.
The biggest problem for O.J. Simpson is he never got a chance to redeem himself on the football field.
He didn't.
If he had a chance to do that, it'd be a different story now. If he didn't go to prison, if he went back out and played football and dominated in prime time,
right,
a lot of people would forgive him.
Oh yeah, if he had committed domestic abuse and it was public, and then
I'm saying the murder. I'm saying if when he walked out of that courtroom a free man and was able to go back and play football and
after being exonerated,
won an MVP or something, we wouldn't talk about him the same way we do. But instead, he walks out a free man, doesn't play football, ends up going to jail for other things.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton did some pretty bad things in office. You could say, took advantage of a younger woman, used his position of power
for sure.
to do something bad.
Yeah.
But he never lost his job for it. He never went to jail for it. Nothing came of it.
He did.
So he's still,
he did. His reputation was never the same. He was impeached. There was a lot of.
His wife just ran for president 2 years ago, and he was on the speaking tour.
Yeah,
that's not the mark of a man whose reputation is marred.
Oh, he's never going to live that down.
Well, no, because of Republicans. But the fact that he's still held in such high regard by Democrats, the fact that he's still on the speaking tour, the fact that he's still talking, that anyone cares what he has to say, says a lot.
But he can, at any moment, look obliviously happy in the direction of Ariana Grande at a funeral, and he's gonna have to wear it.
Yeah, but he doesn't care either. The other thing, I don't think it bothers him.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff like
people from Arkansas whose nicknames should have been Sex. William Jeff.
Hey, I was as a kid, I didn't really know all that stuff, and so when Bill Clinton came to our high school and I got to meet him for the first time, and I told him a little bit about, I met him for 40 seconds, the first time I met him when I was in high school, and it was just after he was president. And I introduced myself to him. I told him about this essay I was writing, and then like 5 years later, I met him again when he was doing a speaking tour at the University of Arkansas, and he remembered who I was, and it was just sort of like that kind of stuff sticks with you. It's just like astonishing the mind that guy has.
You're very easily impressed.
Well, this person meets hundreds of thousands of people a year.
Yeah.
So
some people have photographic memories.
He's one of them.
JFK could read the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times,
right.
the Washington Post in under 10 minutes.
Right. But my point is, a photographic memory does not, thank you, excuse.
I need another drink too.
Abhorrent behavior.
Could I get a whiskey on the rocks, please? Do you have Woodford Reserve? Thank you. Switch it to the hard stuff.
Let's see here. Chris says, no woman deserves that. You don't hit women, period. I agree.
I think it's totally fair to hold it over his head forever. Color's the way I look at him.
I cannot watch him play without thinking of that. I can't, and it's been that way since he got drafted. I have a hard time seeing him be praised on Twitter and on social media and not think that he doesn't deserve it.
Well,
Tyreek Hill, we're talking about now.
I can watch him play without thinking about it.
I really can't.
It always ends up on the Twitter timeline, which brings you back. But
let's see. Eric says, if a woman put herself in a man's place, she deserves to get knocked out. Don't care what sex you are. You step to me, and I'll knock that ass out. Eric says, but I'm 6'5", so I've never had a bitch pull that shit. I choked a bitch out one time because she tried to pull a knife on me. I don't play. All right.
A lot to unpack there.
I don't know what to do with that.
I don't know either. That's I don't know, Eric. I think you might need to see some counseling.
Seriously, I have always been somebody who has been a big believer that you protect people who cannot protect themselves for whatever reason. And for what gender irrelevant, age irrelevant, size irrelevant. If somebody cannot protect themselves and they need protection, you should protect that person.
Are you pro-life?
Pro-life? Yes, I'm pro-life. I'm for life.
I mean, in the particular sense.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've had a very difficult time grappling with that question recently, more so than I did in my past, because I used to be a very pro-choice person. But it's not a religious thing because I'm not religious. I kind of view it in these terms. I think that life as an experience is sacred. That's one of the core principles of my personal belief system. That life as an experience is sacred.
Yeah.
So I think even if the life is painful, it's worth living versus not living at all. So
right. I
would say at this point, in my life, I'm probably more pro-life than I am pro-choice. But I understand that the necessity for pro-choice is there in our society. Like it helps decrease crime. It helps decrease a lot of problems in overpopulation.
That's kind of a eugenics argument, though.
No, it's not. Read the Freakonomics argument on it. They're very much about saying
the problem is when they say reduce crime, they're talking about the black babies being aborted.
No, they're talking about impoverished babies being aborted, which statistically is overrepresented in the minority populations, but in America. But generally speaking, they're saying it is a fact that Roe v. Wade being passed and abortion being legalized resulted in a significant decrease in crime.
Yeah.
It's just true.
Yeah, that's a statement of fact.
Yes.
If you argue with it, you're arguing with science
right.
and math.
Yeah. Seriously, go read Freakonomics. They do an NPR podcast. It's not like that's a conservative or whatever, liberal, whatever. It's not a political.
Numbers.
That's not a political belief.
Boy, that is just some god-awful tackling.
Royce Freeman gets 9 yards. So it'll be 3rd and 1 there for the Broncos to start the 3rd quarter.
Oh, I got something for you. Did you see Jalen Ramsey after the game in Dallas?
What did he do?
See his media? He just answered every question the same way. It was like, oh, I don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Same answer to every question. 1 or 2 words at a time.
What?
Jalen Ramsey, after they got their asses kicked by the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Just 1 or 2 word answers at a time.
Oh, you're saying shut up after they lost.
And I'm saying you can't do that when you go on the cover of GQ and ESPN The Mag. You got to go up there and be a professional. You got to answer the questions.
What do you want him to do?
Answer the questions instead of just say, well, I don't know.
I mean, he's answering the questions.
No, you got to answer the questions. If you're going to talk the talk, you got to walk the walk, man. When things don't go well, you still have media obligations. And going, oh, I don't know, that's pussying out.
Yeah, well, I mean, do you feel like it was his fault, though?
Doesn't matter. He's on defense. They gave up 40 points. He was taking all the credit.
He's still really good.
He was taking all the credit when they were winning. He was loud when they were winning.
Yeah. Let's see here. Chris says some guy is making his debut for an LA team tonight in the NBA. Who is that?
Trevor Ariza.
Oh, intercepted. Big time interception by Patrick Peterson. He's been doing that his whole career. And chalk up another pick for Case Keenum.
Dude, even when things go right, they don't go right for Case.
It was a terrible throw. He overthrew Emmanuel Sanders, who was being covered by one of the best corners in the league. And he gets intercepted. Of course he does.
Anybody who played quarterback will tell you that you always want to overthrow your wide receivers. And on a fade route, which that was, you always want to overthrow them outside.
Yeah.
On the outside shoulder.
Right.
But overthrowing on the outside shoulder just happened to be where Patrick Peterson was.
Right.
And I don't know how Case Keenum looked over there, saw that, and said, yeah, I should throw it there.
He's just very inaccurate. I mean, there's no real way around it.
I don't know how you get to the NFL, though. I don't know how you get to this level at his size being inaccurate. Because he doesn't have the other tools. He doesn't have the big body.
He doesn't have anything else.
He doesn't have the large arm. He doesn't have a particularly special brain.
I mean, I look at him a lot like a lot of the other sort of perennial backups. You know, he looks a lot like Chase Daniel. Yeah. He looks a lot like a guy who can do some things and knows the offense and works really hard, but he's not accurate. He doesn't have a strong arm. He can't throw off balance. I mean, he's not a particularly mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
And yet the Broncos paid him $18 million. $18 million. I feel like if I worked my ass off, I could do that. I mean, I'm like, you know, if like just hypothetically,
if we gave you 12 months to train,
with my physical ability, with his level of experience, I could do that. You could do that.
Yeah,
anyone could do that.
I don't know why you couldn't spend a year eating Chipotle every day, hitting the gym, and going out and throwing 100 balls a day.
There you go.
This is just what I needed.
That's just whiskey on the rocks?
This is a heavy pour. Yeah. This is like 3 whiskeys on the rocks.
All right, well, you know, enjoy.
I didn't drive.
Enjoy. All right, let's see here. Eric says, who cares? They're getting married. She probably had it coming.
Jesus Christ.
Shazad Ali, Week 7 predictions. What are your Week 7 predictions?
Chiefs by a lot over the Bengals.
You're taking them over the Bengals?
The Bengals haven't won on Sunday Night Football. They're 0-10.
I think that I don't think that matters. I think they're gonna win. I think the Bengals are gonna beat the Chiefs.
You think this is one of those things where it's like the NBA? If one team has a winning streak, when the winning streak ends, they usually lose 2 in a row.
I think it's some of that.
That's like a statistical gambling scientific note if you bet on the NBA. If a team has a winning streak and they lose, they are like overwhelmingly projected to lose the next game as well.
Right, yeah. I also think that you can't be that bad on defense. And, I mean, Andy Dalton is having like a career year. As much as everybody bags on Andy Dalton, I think I might take Andy Dalton to have like a 400-yard game against the Chiefs.
Sure, why not? But the NFL is increasingly moving towards the college football model where yards are meaningless.
Sure, right. And getting in.
I don't know that Andy Dalton throwing for 375, 2 touchdowns and a pick is going to be all that impressive. I think it needs to be 410, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, no turnovers to win that game. Because I think Pat Mahomes is the better quarterback, and I think Pat Mahomes grew up a lot on Sunday night against the Patriots. I think going up against Belichick was a different thing than he'd experienced in his entire career, high school, college, the first 6 games in the pros. I think that was just a different beast. And it's like we talked about a couple weeks ago. Now he's had a chance to go back and diagnose the film of what he saw against Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
That's going to make him so much better.
But I also think watching the Chiefs week after week after week, and given how much of, a scheme-specific
that's such a good ball from Rosen.
That was a great pass.
Hitting Fitz
to Larry
in stride.
Fitzgerald. And that's a bread and butter pass, too. If he can hit that throw consistently.
But that's only like the second or third time they've run over the middle, or they've passed over the middle.
Right, but I feel like every time it's been to Fitzgerald.
Boy, Chris Harris Jr., he got burnt.
They're just putting Fitzgerald in the slot.
He got burnt by an old man.
Let's see, where are they putting Fitzgerald now?
Inside.
They've got him inside again. That time he was out there to block. David Johnson
I would love
got
to
nothing.
see the spray chart, so to speak, of Fitzgerald's placement. I bet 80% of his snaps come from inside the slot.
See, Chris says Jalen Ramsey talks shit about every quarterback, but he has the shittiest quarterback in the NFL. Blake Bortles.
He's not playing with Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's not the shittiest quarterback in the NFL.
Who's worse?
Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles.
No.
Blake Bortles is worse.
No.
Blake Bortles.
Josh Allen has the same low floor that Bortles does. Bortles has a higher ceiling.
Oh,
That's
almost.
a bad ball. It's just a bad ball.
I mean, Roby there deflected that pass. It looked like it was close to being picked off.
We don't need another turnover here. We don't need that. We
That
need to
was-
just get the last touchdown and go home.
That right there was a slow release there by Rosen.
It was a late read, is what it was.
Yes.
Because he had Roby beat on the comeback.
That's right. Yes. See, he's
a back shoulder.
too slow
It was
on
a back
that.
shoulder throw, and he was late.
He's got to let that thing fly a lot faster. He's going to learn that eventually.
But the thing about that pass, that throw, is that's a correctable mistake.
It is.
And that's what I think gives you hope if you're a Cardinals fan. That footwork there is so
Rosen
good.
breaks free and gets about 14 yards on 3rd and 10.
That is some incredible pocket awareness. Josh Rosen has the tools.
He does.
But he needs help. He needs an Andy Reid with him. He needs a Josh McDaniels.
Hey, you don't think Steve Wilkes is the guy?
Honestly, I don't know who the offense coordinator of the Cardinals is either.
I mean, is it Steve or is it Bob?
I think
Bob Wilkes?
It's Steve Wilkes. I think
Steve Wilkes.
I just got a text saying Joe Buck is the worst. Did I not? That's 100% true right there. Joe Buck is the worst.
Is Joe Buck the worst? He's not the worst.
He's not the worst by a long shot.
I feel like Spiro Deeds is the worst.
You don't like Spiro?
I'm not a fan of Spiro.
You know who I don't like? And
I will talk like this the whole game.
this could be a little
Spiro
sacrilegious.
Deeds.
I'm not a big Bob Costas fan. Bob Costas did the playoff games on MLB Network, and he talks like he's giving a college lecture.
I can't really do a Bob Costas impersonation.
I can't either, but he had a couple years ago, I was in Kansas City doing the Christmas game against the Broncos, actually, in 2016.
Yeah.
Bob Costas used a flip phone.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Patrick? Patrick watching with us here.
Oh, my God. You know who the Cardinals' offensive coordinator is?
Mike McCoy.
That's why.
Yeah. Eric says Joe Buck is the man. Joe Buck is the fucking man.
I can respect it.
I think he was really good on Brockmeyer. He's really good on Brockmeyer.
Brockmeyer. What's Brockmeyer?
Brockmeyer is that show with
Joe Buck's an actor.
Hank Azaria. It's got Hank
Apu.
Azaria. Yeah. It's got Hank Azaria in it. He's this like kind of old school.
I don't need the synopsis. I just want to know, why was Joe Buck on it?
Because he was playing himself as a play-by-play man on the show.
So, like the thing that Chris Berman always did, where every sports show, Chris Berman always cashed those checks as himself.
No. Joe Buck is a huge asshole. in this show. He's like, he plays up the fact that he's a dick and is a huge dick to Brockmeyer, who's a play-by-play guy trying to make it back into the majors. And so it's like one of the scenes is Joe Buck in a room by himself in like a lounge chair, like swirling white wine in a giant glass, and then sniffing it, and he's on the phone with Brockmeyer trying to tell him how he's like gonna help him out and everything. Finally, and then he just turns over his shoulder. He's like, "This is shit. Where's the good stuff?"
Hey,
it's a great scene.
The commentator life is that glamorous. When we go on the road, I expense everything. It's great. We have a good time.
That's what it is. Please, in the comments, if you have seen Brockmeyer,
Nobody's seen it.
Please let Connor know. It's on IFC, so you're probably right.
Nobody knows what IFC is.
Let's see here. Troy is the worst. Eric says Troy is the worst. Joe Buck is the man.
Wait. That was actually a point I was going to make earlier when we were talking about Joe Buck. Is I think the funny thing about Tony Romo is it has made Troy Aikman better. Troy Aikman this year is so much different than Troy Aikman from years past.
I don't know. He still states obvious things.
But he's also talking about like things that are actually happening in the game. Like he doesn't say, well, that was a run to the right. That was really good. The guard pulled. But he's actually talking about things. And I think it's the Tony Romo effect. I'm not saying he's doing it well. I'm not saying he's good at it. I'm not saying he's great. He's not as bad as Jason Witten. Yeah. But I do think Tony Romo is making Troy Aikman better because Tony Romo or
Todd
Troy
Davis
Aikman
looks like he might be being called here for a penalty. Troy Aikman he has this rhythm to how he speaks. He says,
his cadence is bad.
Here's the thing I thought, and then I saw it on the field, and here's the thing that happened that I thought.
Well, it's like Chris Collinsworth. He always opens, his statements are always, here's a guy.
He does the here's a guy.
And he does it like excitedly.
He does that.
Here's a guy.
Also, I thought the funniest moment on Sunday Night Football was when Chris Collinsworth was telling the story of Patrick Mahomes playing shortstop, and he's like, and he threw the ball so hard it knocked the glasses off the first baseman, and they told him he had to roll the ball to first base from now on. And like just totally disregarding that Patrick Mahomes as a child may have killed another kid with a baseball. Like, just glossed over that. He may have ruined another kid's eyesight.
Only one of those baseball players is an NFL player, so Chris Collinsworth only cares about one of the others.
He doesn't care about the other kid.
Chris Collinsworth's son, Jack Collinsworth, went to Notre Dame, didn't play football, now works for NBC. I don't think Chris knows he exists.
Patrick says Brent Musburger and Chris Collinsworth are the worst. I like both of those guys, Patrick. I think they're both really good.
Brent Musburger is very, very human.
He
is broadcast.
He's so human.
And very relatable. Like, he makes you feel like you're sitting down having a beer with him watching the game.
He's the only broadcaster who is very just sort of openly like, man, look at those titties. Like, he just, like, out of nowhere, he sees it, and then he's like, I feel titties in my mind right now, and I'm going to say that.
Which, one of the funny things is, like, they tell you, you don't have to state the obvious.
Right.
Brent Musburger.
Always.
When it's boobs, he's got to state the obvious.
He's got to state it. Oh, that's a touchdown.
Over cashes.
Larry Fitzgerald is in the end zone.
The over cashes.
And Connor Cape
I'm a
gets
savant.
Step one of the parlay.
I think the -1 is going to cover.
Hey,
it's just
there's a lot of game left. There's a lot of game left. There are a lot of opportunities for Case Keenum to throw interceptions.
If 1-2 Josh Rosen brought the Arizona Cardinals back from a 32-point deficit to beat the Broncos, you'd have to contract the team. You'd have to move them.
You're just like, I'm sorry, we have to leave. We have to give your team to Sacramento now.
So it's in the lease. Like, we can't come back to Mile High.
You're not allowed. We have to take your plane right now.
You have to find another way back to Denver.
Let's see. Madden and Summerall. That's Chris Bennett. Eric says
John Madden sucks. Summerall's the GOAT. John Madden sucks.
Today would have been the great Keith Jackson's birthday. Ah, yes, Keith Jackson and Frank Broyles. The most, yeah.
Is Keith Jackson dead?
Keith Jackson is dead. He died like last year. You don't remember that?
Obviously not.
Well, you're a play-by-play man. I thought you guys all went to the same funerals.
Oh, I remember he died. Yeah, because everyone played the Rose Bowl clips.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, Keith Jackson. Keith Jackson was really, really good.
So good.
He had a very smooth voice.
Yeah.
The smoothest of voices.
You know what he was? He was the Southern plantation owner of play-by-play.
Let's see. Collinsworth and Summerall, my favorite duo. Yeah, good duo. I just get annoyed by Madden's voice after a bit. Tessitore sucks.
Oh.
What do you think about Tessitore?
The Tess effect is real. I have no. One of the things I like about Chris Collinsworth is he seems to be excited to call football games.
Yeah.
Whereas, like I talked about, Joe Buck, very monotone.
Sure.
It's almost like he doesn't want to be there. Chris Collinsworth is always like, I'm at a football game. This is incredible. I hope I get to do this again next week. Like, and I like that. I like that little golden, that golden retriever feel to sports.
Sure.
And Tessitore is a similar way. But I think sometimes Tessitore does the Gus Johnson thing, where he goes a little over the top on plays that maybe you didn't need to go so over the top. And that's draining over 60 minutes. Like, you have to pick your spots when you lose it.
He is orgasmic.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. He shoots his load 3 times.
My wife's watching on the broadcast. Hello, very much. My wife's down in Albuquerque for the weekend.
Your wife?
My wife.
Who knows about your nickname, Sex?
Let's see here. Harris Bout had another one.
Yeah, he did on that fade route.
Yep. Eric says touchdown. It's about damn time. Chris, your graphics still say first quarter. They do still say first quarter.
Morons.
I need to fix that. That's my bad. All right, gonna fix the graphics here.
Who's going to be the next one to join this company? If you look at the TV real quick, it says most receiving touchdowns all time: Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, and Larry Fitzgerald. Antonio Gates has 115, and then Tony Gonzalez and Larry Fitzgerald have 111. Who's going to be the next player to get there to 111 touchdown receptions?
Gronk has got to be close.
He's got like 75, 70-some. He's a couple years away, but he keeps threatening to retire every offseason.
Antonio Brown?
I think he's too old. He's like 30, 31. His production will drop off here in a little bit.
Okay. Oh, Larry Fitzgerald just tackled a guy on the sideline.
I don't think there's anybody scoring touchdowns at that clip.
At the clip of?
Larry Fitzgerald. I don't think there's anybody else doing it. Michael Thomas catches a lot of balls, but he doesn't score enough touchdowns.
Oh, big run by Phillip Lindsay. And he goes out of bounds. About a 20-yard gain there. Looks like a flag.
You know how that big run happens.
Probably going to be a hold. And Vance Joseph is shaking his head in disgust. This will be a 3-and-out for the Broncos, in all likelihood, after that hold. And Andy Janovich.
No need.
That is a blatant hold.
No need to do it, Jano.
So bad. Jano. So disappointed, Jano. So disappointed.
Do better.
Come on, man.
He is like the most likable player outside
He
Von
really
Miller.
is. He really is. Chris says Keith Jackson's last game was the USC-Texas National Championship game.
Yeah, and he did it really well. His touchdown call, the Vince Young run, was very good.
2006. January of 2006 was when that call was made. That was the game to end all games. They were talking about how USC was one of the best teams of all time going into that game. And then Vince Young, by himself, I think he had like 270 yards passing and 210 yards rushing.
Come on now. Let's not make Texas little sisters of the poor here.
No.
They had lots of pro talent on their team.
No question. I'm just saying that the heroics of Vince Young in that game in the Rose Bowl were incredible.
Oh, yeah.
What he did in that game was insane.
Absolutely. But USC, Alabama this year is the best college football team I've ever seen, which isn't saying much. I'm 26 years old. I'm not, 70. I haven't been watching for 50 years.
Well, I do think that the sprain on Tua Tagovailoa is a big deal.
For now.
Sure.
They'll be able to play Hurts the whole rest of the year if they need to, and Tua will be fine come playoff time.
Keenum hands the ball off to Lindsey here on 3rd and 14, and he's going to be short of the first down. Be 4th and about 6. What were you saying?
That USC defense was never. It wasn't 2011 Alabama.
Right.
There were obvious holes. There were gaps. There were things you could take advantage of.
True.
I think with this Alabama team, there's nothing you could take advantage of. And when we get to the end of the year and they beat Clemson in the playoff or Ohio State in the playoff, and then they beat Notre Dame or whoever in the title game, both those games by double digits, we're going to walk away saying, oh, it's the best college football team of all time.
There is a little bit of the haves and have-nots in college football right now. Because
it's getting worse. The gap's getting wider.
Yeah, you've got Alabama, and then you've got a big gap. And then it's Clemson, Notre Dame, and then I think there is probably,
Ohio State has to be in that tier 2.
Well, see, that's the thing.
They have to be in tier 2. They go to the playoff every year. They win the Big Ten almost every year.
Right.
They won a national title a couple years ago, beating Alabama. They have to be in that tier 2.
Okay, so those are your 4 teams.
Yeah. Whoops.
You all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got those 4 teams, but Alabama, I don't see any of those other 3 teams. I guess maybe Clemson, because Clemson's got an offense that can really wow people. But those other, I guess the only thing that Ohio State has is that Urban Meyer factor. And
Dwayne Haskins is really good.
Yeah, he is. And then Notre Dame, I'm not a big believer in Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's a fraud. If Notre Dame makes the playoffs, they'll get 2012 by whoever they play.
Yes.
If they play Alabama, if they play Ohio State, if they play Clemson, they'll get 2012.
Right, and in 2012, for those who are not familiar, Manti Te'o's imaginary girlfriend was on defense in the national championship game, which is why they gave up 50 points.
Those phone calls were so sad when SportsCenter played them.
Oh.
With Teo and the dude. Jesus Christ.
It was brutal. It was a dude pretending to be a girl.
On her deathbed.
On the phone. He got, it was
I feel bad when he gets mocked at games.
It's so bad.
It's the worst prank I've ever heard.
I feel bad for him, but I also am a little bit like, how? How does that happen with a guy who is that big of a deal?
Who should be, smashing Notre Dame co-eds?
Or at
what
least
is the
just,
point you're getting
interacting with real people, you're surrounded by so many other people.
I think that, honestly, I think that feeds into it.
Sure.
I think all the real people he meets grovel at his feet so much that it's like, well, I got to find something that's better. I got to find something real. This is not going to work.
Fitz tackled Kurt Warner before the game started. That was Kurt Warner?
You didn't know that was Kurt Warner.
I didn't know that was Kurt Warner. I thought that was just like a reporter.
You don't know what Kurt Warner looks like.
I know what he looks like, but he had a lot of gray hair. And he was wearing a weird seersucker suit.
High V stock boy, Kurt Warner. You don't know him.
I know him. I didn't know that was him. He's like the screen.
He's like one of the most recognizable players in football.
I know what Kurt Warner looks like. That did not look like Kurt Warner on the screen.
It was the same crew cut army haircut he's had for 20 years.
He looked like a lot of reporters in, Phoenix. All right.
This is going to be taken back as a forward pass.
Brandon Marshall.
But at the moment, it's going to be a fumble because
Brandon
refs are too scared.
Marshall again, and it looks like, let's take a look here. Josh Rosen.
No, that's a fumble.
That's a fumble. Who gets credit for that? Von Miller with the sack.
That's a throw. That's an incomplete pass.
Yeah, they're gonna. Yeah, that's a throw.
A forward pass.
That's a forward pass. Vince Young had 467 total yards, 267 passing yards, 200 rushing, and 3 rushing touchdowns.
I just want to know what'll make us feel like that again. Because as you were watching that game, and I remember this, I remember watching that game. I was 14 years old. I was 14 years old when this happened, and I still remember watching that and thinking at the time, live, in the moment, I'm watching greatness right now. I'm watching something that will stand the test of time.
Yeah.
We don't get that anymore when you watch it live. Like you don't feel that heaviness of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you said it was the college football game that was the end-all, be-all of college football games, you're kind of right. There hasn't been one like that since.
Yeah.
We've had some pretty good national championships, and we've had some pretty good playoff games.
We have.
With Ohio State and Alabama, and then Oklahoma, Georgia, and then Clemson, Alabama 2 times. Like, we've had some really good games, and none of them have felt like that. Maybe we can get like that this year if somebody beats Alabama in the playoff.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
But we need to start writing the articles that this is the best Alabama team, this is the best college football team of all time, so that when it does happen, everyone says, wow, instant classic, blah, blah, blah. Or, in this cynical age of dipshits, everyone will say, I knew you were wrong the whole time. I tried to tell you.
We've had some good finishes, like the Auburn-Oregon finish was really good.
He was down. Michael Dyer was down.
Dyer was down. There was no question he was down.
He was down.
That was a good finish, but it wasn't a good game. And those certainly weren't teams on the level of USC and Texas that year.
Right. That's the thing about college football, though, is one player can elevate you so much in college football, and Cam Newton could elevate Auburn so much.
The Florida State-Auburn finish was a really good one. But
the last BCS game. It was a terrible game, though, because Florida State didn't show up for the first half.
Right. It was a bad game. Good finish, bad game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the other games that would apply, because pretty much any time Alabama plays in those games, they dominate.
So Alabama-Clemson is what you have to have. Hunter Renfrow on that touchdown in Tampa.
Yeah, yeah.
The last-second touchdown from Watson to Renfrow. Well, there's like 3 seconds left on the clock at the end of it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of that comes close, but we don't talk about it anymore. We don't talk about that game.
No. No, we don't.
Whereas we still talk about the Rose Bowl, which it being the Rose Bowl probably has a little bit to do with it as well.
Right. All right, so they're saying forward pass. Zach Rosenberg in on the broadcast. What's up, Zach?
What's up, Zach?
Eric says Arizona should just bow out and give them the win and go get some dinner.
I mean, honestly, there's no reason for them to put their bodies on the line like this. The NFL is so violent, and you have such a limited shelf life. It doesn't make sense to continually do this to yourself when a game's out of reach, which is also one of my big problems with NFL coaches is you have these guys, these literal gladiators, putting their bodies on the line, and you don't go for it on 4th and 1 at midfield? Guys literally giving their bodies and brains to the sport, and you don't go for it?
Yeah.
Like, what a waste.
All right, 3rd and 4 here, and Josh Rosen steps forward.
No, he's not. That's
he fumbles the ball.
That's a fumble. That's a
fumble.
That
is a fumble. And the ball is out, picked up.
It's a good thing the over already cashed.
And Brandon Marshall, it looks like, got... No. Walker. Walker recovers.
What's his first name?
I don't know.
I didn't think so. That's careless with the ball, Josh.
Von Miller got it back. Von Miller wraps up, forces the fumble. And Walker, whose first name I don't know, picks it up.
If anything could embolden the legend of Von Miller, it's saying we're going to go kick their ass and then kicking their ass.
That's what they're doing.
Von Miller, I'm a cynic as cynical as they come. Von Miller deserves all the props and praise.
It's not against a good enough team.
Well, that's part of the problem. Yeah,
That's part of the problem.
They're going to get their asses kicked by Kansas City, but
now if he comes out and says, we're going to kick Kansas City's ass,
yeah, that's what we need.
and then they do it,
that's what we need.
Then that's legendary.
We need Pat Mahomes to go 10 for 30 for 120 yards and 2 picks, and then it's real. But I mean, Von Miller watched the film. He looked at Josh Rosen and was like, "Phew."
Well, see, here's the thing that I think that's interesting about that, because if Mahomes implodes, which I don't think he's going to have like a massive implosion, but if some defense eventually figures out whatever it is that they're doing and figures out a way to stop it, like that whole thing's going to just fall in on itself. Because then all of a sudden Mahomes is going to have to start running the ball.
I don't think so. I think the Patriots figured him out for the first half. I think they really stifled him. They let him have everything between the 20s, and then in the red zone, they stiffened up. They made life hard. They applied pressure. They changed their blitz packages. He looked confused. Mm-hmm. And then at halftime, Andy Reid makes adjustments, and he comes out and he throws a bunch of touchdowns, and he brings the team back. Yeah. I think that performance Sunday night is an indication of Pat Mahomes in the future, and I think he's going to get better at diagnosing these things on the fly. He's not going to need halftime to come back from, I'm so frustrated, I don't know what I'm doing out here. He's not going to need that. He's going to be able to do it series to series, play to play, and it's not going to be the Broncos who do it to him. And if it does happen, I don't think it's going to last the whole 60 minutes. I think the dude really has the brain, the arm, and the coach, and the weapons. I think he has everything. And some of those things, like you can't have your Deshaun Watson, an ad for this Thursday night game next week just popped up. Deshaun Watson has those things. He's got the arm. He's got the brain. Kind of has the weapons. Kind of. He's got DeAndre Hopkins, but other than that, not much. But he doesn't have the weapons. Doesn't have the coach. Pat Mahomes has everything.
He does. He has an enormous amount of resources.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And that makes a difference.
Well,
makes a huge difference.
I think it makes a huge difference right now.
The only thing missing for Pat Mahomes is a running game.
Well, he's got that too. He's got Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt hasn't really been that good in the last 10 games.
He's good against the Patriots.
He's always good against. He's 2 times against the Patriots. He's been really good.
He's always good against the Patriots. Ooh.
This game is trash.
This game is awful. It's
20 minutes left.
Right. I mean, just please run the ball.
This is like watching Alabama versus Arkansas State.
Philip Lindsay in the backfield.
But you're talking about the gap between college football teams. You know how much money Alabama spends on football each year? $100 million. You know how much money Missouri spends on football? 35.
If that.
No, they did the numbers.
They did? Oh,
yeah.
35. Okay. 35 mil.
Yeah, to 100. There's going to be some gaps.
Yeah.
And
about
it's like
$65 million.
I tried to explain to Nuggets fans last night. It's like there's no reason to invest yourself in the Nuggets this year. You're not as good as the Warriors. Unless Steph Curry and KD get hurt, there's no point. We know what's going to happen.
All right, Case Keenum in the ace formation, hands it off to Philip Lindsay, who breaks it out, and another big gain, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Philip Lindsay.
I don't think I'm going to call that tackling.
I mean, this is just straight up domination.
Yeah, top to bottom.
Philip Lindsay, 41-10. Broncos lead. Absolutely amazing. We're only in the third quarter, and it's 42-10, or about to be 42-10.
Well, it's Brandon McManus. Let's hold on a second.
It's in. Christy's watched with us. What's up, Christy? Thank you very much for watching. Eric says, I was so pissed when McCoy went out. What a puss. LA is tougher than KC. Eric says, Mahomes has had some first-year luck. It won't last forever. I agree, Eric. Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing.
Boy, I don't agree with that.
Oh, I do. No one's this good. No one. No one's this
What do
good.
you mean this good? He struggled for a half hour against the Patriots,
So,
and then he made adjustments.
I mean, his
What
receivers
do you mean? What do you mean
were
by
so open.
What do you mean by? What do you mean? Well, that's not luck. That's a repeatable. That's a repeatable instance.
But
Tyreek Hill is
I
going
told
to
you
be
this
open
earlier.
all year long.
I told you this earlier. Be wary of wide receivers who are too open.
I remember. I heard you.
Be wary. I trust Drew Brees because Drew Brees can put the ball where only his guy can get it, and only that guy can
Drew Brees
catch
is
it.
a Hall of Famer.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
All right. Tom Brady can put it where only
Tom Brady's
his
a
guy
Hall
can
of
get it.
Famer. Yes, I know. I'm not saying
Aaron Rodgers puts it where only his guy can get it.
Pat Mahomes is not at their level.
Right. He's not. So people need to stop acting like
But
he is.
But I don't think people are acting like he is.
Oh.
Well, people in Kansas City maybe.
Whoa.
But the luck running out thing, I don't think it's luck. I think some of the throws that Pat Mahomes makes, and I think the situations that Andy Reid puts him in, and that Travis Kelce opens up, and Tyreek Hill opens up, I think those are repeatable things. Luck, by definition, is something that you can't repeat time after time. I don't think he's getting lucky.
Yeah.
I think he has so much around him. There's never been a first-year starting quarterback who has been in such a good situation.
Sure.
And I think that, combined with his natural talent and the fact that he gets better every game,
yes,
I think it's gonna well out. Well, we're at the end of the year, we're gonna be sitting here and saying, "Dude's incredible. Dude's on his way to being the next top-tier quarterback in the NFL." It's not luck. It's not luck.
It's schematic. It's not him making plays.
If Travis Kelce gets hurt, or Tyreek Hill gets hurt, I think they're in trouble. But some of the throws that he makes, like the way that he's able to flick a ball on a rope, rolling out to his right.
Sure, absolutely.
It's incredible.
I mean, Michael Vick was incredible. Michael Vick never did anything.
Michael Vick never had what Pat Mahomes has.
Right, but that's not...
Michael Vick never had the pocket presence either, or the footwork.
But
Pat Mahomes has the pocket presence. He has the footwork in the pocket. It's not like every time Pat Mahomes gets pressured, he bails out.
Sure.
He still sticks in the pocket. He
Yes.
keeps his eyes downfield.
Right.
He has things that Michael Vick never had.
Those are all great qualities. I still haven't seen him, like, really face a challenge. Like a real, legitimate... I don't know how he's going to get out of this challenge and then do it.
I don't know if you will with the new NFL.
Yeah, and look, maybe
the fact that it's easier to play offense than it ever has been.
There is no question. He is playing in the NFL at the right time.
Right. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
But
like, there's no defense in the league. Quarterbacks are just like way too protected.
Absolutely. All this I agree 100%. But what matters at the end of the day?
And he has every weapon on the planet.
But what
and
matters?
he has the best offensive mind in the game.
But what matters at the end of the day? It's the points that you put on the board.
Yeah.
And in every game, he has put the points up. 40 points is enough to beat every other quarterback who's not Tom Brady. 40 points is enough. He puts up the points.
Yeah. Right. Well, in that game, though, I think that if the Patriots... Here's the thing, though. If the Patriots had scored 24, they would have only let the Chiefs score 21. That's the thing with the Patriots is that
they pick their score.
That's right. They do.
Yeah, I know.
So, them getting 40 to me, I think is kind of erroneous. I don't think it matters that they got 40 points against the Patriots because it didn't matter how many points. They were never going to score enough points to win that game.
So, what you're saying is you think, Tyrod Taylor would have put up 40 or Ryan Tannehill would have put up 40 or...
No. I think that there is... I think Bill Belichick in particular... It's very easy for him to know exactly what Andy Reid is and to just kind of let Andy Reid do what he does. And just sort of all right, Andy.
So you think this was Big Brother letting little brother...
I really do, man. I watched that game and I'm like, they're just letting him do...
I could see that.
Just okay, all right, go ahead.
You know what
Score a touchdown.
makes me
really
think
care.
that, though, is... what makes me agree with that is how casual the Patriots offense was for the whole 60 minutes.
It was unbelievable.
They never sweat.
Never.
They were just we'll score now. We'll score on this drive.
That pass to Julian Edelman, by the way, it's 2nd and 7. I don't know if you guys care. 142 rushing yards for the Broncos tonight.
So they'll finish with 215. That'll do it.
That pass to Julian Edelman. Tom Brady looked like he was throwing in the most awkward, off-balance way in that throw, like it was a hurried, bad throw. And then as it landed, you were like, oh, wait, no, that wasn't hurried. It wasn't bad.
Perfect. It was exactly
perfect.
what he meant to do.
It was exactly what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that throw is the difference between, and like that whole fourth quarter, in addition to that, is the difference between a guy who really, really is good and a guy who seems good because he's putting up big numbers.
I can see that. And one of the things that when you watch an Aaron Rodgers and a Drew Brees and a Tom Brady is when you see them throw a ball with conviction, you trust it every time.
Every time.
And when you see Pat Mahomes throw the ball with conviction, you're still like, is this a prayer? Is he throwing this into triple coverage?
Yeah.
But when you watch Tom Brady, I knew as soon as it left Tom Brady's hand, I was like, that's a touchdown. Because he never throws like that unless it's perfect.
Unless it's right. Yes.
And it is very often because he's got good receivers and he's got a good scheme and he's Tom Brady. But I knew when the ball left his hand, I was like, that's a touchdown. There's someone there in the corner. There has to be because he wouldn't have thrown the ball there if it wasn't. Whereas with Pat Mahomes, you're like, well, maybe he's just lofting up, which he did at the end of the half. At the end of the first half, he threw that interception and kept the Chiefs away from 3 points.
And then on the 3 and out in the fourth quarter, the 3 and out, it was the same kind of throw. Pat Mahomes was throwing off his back foot. He just threw up a prayer, and it was almost intercepted. Should have been intercepted.
Yeah.
The corner had both hands on the ball. Should have caught it. And if he does, the game isn't even close.
Right.
So, once again, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league in a few years. But right now, what you're seeing is just a guy he's on a hot streak and he's got a lot of weapons around him and he's got a really good coach and that's all fine and good, but that team's not going to win in the playoffs.
That's how I feel about Jared Goff.
That's how you feel about Jared Goff.
And I think Pat Mahomes is more talented than Jared Goff.
I think he is too. I do.
But that's how I feel about Goff.
Eric says it's a mixture of luck and the new rules that favor him. Eric says he's almost gotten creamed a bunch of times. He has a lot go down in his favor that could have gone the other way. Pat Mahomes went 1-2 versus Charlie Strong, led Texas Longhorns. Josh Rosen got banged up on that play, limping off. Eric says once there's a full season of tape on him, defenses will catch up to his garbage soon. Yeah, I mean, I like all that's true. I think all of that's true.
Garbage, though.
I think eventually you're going to see Mahomes' tendencies, which right now, when his wide receivers are wide open, make him look amazing.
Right.
But when his wide receivers aren't open anymore,
I think
he's going to start throwing picks left and right.
That one touchdown in the corner of the end zone against the 49ers where he rolled out and throws a laser 30 yards into the corner. It was Conley who caught it maybe, or DeMarcus Robinson.
Yeah.
That's an Aaron Rodgers throw. That's a throw you can't teach. That's a throw that's not luck. That's a throw that is all Pat Mahomes.
Sure.
The play broke down. He created more time for himself. His guys got open, which they always do in the NFL if you give them enough time. Mm-hmm. And he made the throw that nobody else, except save a handful of guys, can make. Yeah. The thing about the garbage comment is every quarterback is going to have garbage throws. It's just what percentage of their throws are garbage. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, it's less than 1% of their throws are garbage. Pat Mahomes, I'd say 10% of his throws, 20% of his throws are garbage. Maybe not 20, 10%, 15% are garbage. And I think as he gets better, and maybe this is due to his wide receivers being as open as they are, but I think that number is going to continue to drop. And if your theory is right, the number will stay the same and guys will just be less open.
Shazad Ali asked, do we do this for all Broncos home games as well? We do. Right here at Henry's 16th Street Tavern. We're also going to be doing some games at Oscar Blues Brewery over across downtown on Market Street, just right around the corner, actually, from where we're at right now on 16th Street Mall in Welton. Oh, Peterson's going to get called for the block in the back.
Somebody needs to go rescue Patrick Peterson. Prefer it be Bill Belichick.
You think the Patriots are going to figure out a way to convince the Cardinals
No, but I want that to happen.
You want that to happen.
I want Stephon Gilmore and Patrick Peterson on each end.
Yeah.
Nobody will score again.
That was the funny comment from all the Chiefs fans on Sunday that I thought was interesting was that we're going to see you guys again in the postseason. No, you're not.
I don't think so.
You're not going to see the Patriots.
The Steelers are going to get hot.
Yeah, that's right. That's the thing that happens in the postseason is like the guys who know what they're doing just.
And then the Steelers will lose to the Patriots by 3 touchdowns because they refuse to play man-to-man. And because they can't generate pressure on Tom Brady, and because Tom Brady is so good under pressure, their zone defense is not good enough to beat him.
Yeah.
And so they lose by 3 touchdowns, and then they scratch their heads. They're like, why can't we beat Tom Brady? I don't
understand.
Get it. We're so good in the regular season.
What happened? The Chiefs are going to lose to whoever they play.
It'll be Pittsburgh at Arrowhead again.
If it's Pittsburgh and Arrowhead, James Conner is going to have like 200 yards, and they're going to lose because they can't stop the running game.
It's hard to root against the cancer survivor.
And they're all going to get mad, and they're going to say it's not Andy Reid's fault because they couldn't stop James Conner, and then Bob Sutton's going to get fired, and then once again they're going to start next season over again in the exact same position they do every year, where it's like Andy Reid, great offense, and they're going to do the same thing again. And then after they finally realize that clock management and being able to adjust in the postseason is really important, they're going to fire Andy Reid just like Philadelphia did.
No.
They are. They're going to fire Andy Reid.
Clark Hunt is pocketing more money than he's ever pocketed in his life. He'll go 11-5 for the rest of his life with Andy Reid.
It is so – it's just like –
he's a businessman at heart.
Right, but –
he went to SMU. He's a Republican businessman.
They found a way. Like, this is what Chiefs fans do. They find a way to justify. Like, they still don't think they lost to the Patriots on Sunday night. They don't think they lost.
Yeah.
That's how they act.
Yeah.
Like, oh, no, we'll see you guys again. We actually won that game. Just watch in the postseason. We'll prove we won that game.
We couldn't stop Tom Brady, but.
Right. I know that, like, at the end of the game, he did the thing he always does, but we still won the game. But, like, we'll do it in the postseason. Like, sure you will.
That's kind of
you lost to the Titans with an 18-point lead in the postseason. You think I'm going to trust you in the postseason? No.
That shows how much we've taken Tom Brady for granted, though. Like, he has this fourth quarter drive, a perfect ball to Gronk, and it's just like, whatever.
That's right.
If Josh Rosen had done that, if Case Keenum had done that, we'd be like, wow, what impressive drive, what moxie, what clutch.
It's just what he does.
It's just what he does.
It's just what he does.
It's a joy to watch.
42-10. This game will not end. It is finally the fourth quarter.
14 and a half minutes left.
Come on. Please, just, like, run the ball or something. We don't need the rest of this game. I don't need you to get anybody reps in this game. I don't need fantasy points. No one does.
Josh Rosen needs the reps.
Josh Rosen needs the reps. Joe Montana is the last Chiefs QB to do anything in the playoffs. Chris is correct.
Alex Smith won a playoff game in Houston, 34-0.
I was there. Niall Davis had a 106-yard touchdown return
on the opening play.
He's got his cleats in the Hall of Fame.
For now.
I mean,
they'll rotate them out. They have like 500,000 items.
They have a lot of stuff there. David Johnson gets the first down.
That's like going to the World War I Museum in Kansas City. They have 400,000 items and artifacts,
right,
and like a tenth are on display at a time.
That's right.
The Hall of Fame's the same way.
I've never been to the Hall of Fame.
Why would anyone go to Ohio, let alone Canton, Ohio? I was just in Columbus.
Yeah,
so
yeah. What's in Ohio?
It's not LeBron.
Nope, he's not there. Cleveland, there's nothing in Cleveland.
Nope.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? There's a bunch of Hall of Fames in Cleveland.
There's a lot of famous people. There's a lot of people from Ohio. There are actually more astronauts from Ohio than any other state.
I think Ohio has produced 8 presidents.
Yeah, there's actually there's a statue outside the Ohio State House Legislature, the Capitol building or something in Columbus, Our hotel was right next to it, and it has the faces of all the presidents from Ohio.
Ah.
Yeah. The most important being Ulysses S. Grant.
Why the most important?
Have you heard of the Civil War?
Oh. So they kind of gloss over.
His presidency? He didn't do much. He was a drunk.
Right.
He didn't do much.
His presidency was a failure, but as a general,
He's the only
A+.
He's the only president in U.S. history who is more famous for what he did outside of the presidency than as president. He's the only one.
Trying to think who else would even qualify for that.
George Washington.
Okay, yeah.
But George Washington subdued the Whiskey Rebellion, and he set up the 2-term limit, which was very important for the Republic.
All right, well, Josh Rosen is really eating up the middle of the field.
He's getting those
here.
garbage time stats. It's a good ball.
He throws such a beautiful ball.
He throws a ball like some kid who you'd expect to be raised in like Brentwood, L.A., who has his own personal quarterbacks coach from the time he's 13.
There it is. There it is.
That's his life. That's him.
Yeah, that's him. All right, 42-10, Josh Rosen. David Johnson on the first down. Another first down completion there.
It's video. Like, we're on YouTube, Facebook, all that live video.
Doing like a podcast kind of thing?
It's like live video, not a podcast. Welcome in. And bye.
Eric says if they were going to fire Reed, they would have done it years ago. They stuck with him like I'm stuck with Garrett.
They haven't had him for years.
They haven't. They've only had him since 2013. Oh, Rosen, that's intentional grounding.
No. What's his face is there?
That's a throw.
Come on, blow the whistle.
That's a throw.
This is stupid. I think he stepped out of bounds first. Broncos ball at the half-yard line.
If that was a live play and he had actually done that.
That's all I want to come from this game now.
That's it, clearly intentional grounding. Are they going to say he was out of the pocket?
Yep.
That's the thing that Rosen needs to do is gain some weight.
Not play Von Miller every weekend?
He's got to put some weight on. He is so skinny.
That's what I said to you. You eat Chipotle for a year and throw 500 balls a day, you could be an NFL quarterback.
Yeah. I
Nope,
could be
that's
Case
a pick.
Keenum. Interception, Bradley Roby. Now everybody's going to say Bradley Roby's back.
Yep, that's going to be bad.
Oh, my God.
Travis Kelce's going to make
This
him
game
look
is
like stupid.
You cannot analyze this game.
No,
There's
there's nothing gained from this
nothing
except
gained.
money.
Nothing.
If you bet the Broncos and the over. Then you came away in the positive. But only if you gamble. And you'd have to be good to gamble on the Broncos and the over to know what was coming. You'd have to be something of a savant. You'd have to be a genius.
Right.
I don't know who could do that.
All right, let's see. Let's look at some comments here. Ohio has produced a lot of great college football coaches.
Gary Pinkel, Bob Stoops, Urban Meyer.
Jim Tressel.
Where's he from?
Youngstown?
They all are.
Yeah.
They're all from Youngstown.
They're all from Youngstown. Not as many as Arkansas.
I thought Ohio was the cradle of coaches.
Nope, it's Arkansas.
Says a lot about football.
All right, you name the best college football coach from Ohio, and I will name the best college football coach from Arkansas, and then we'll just go down the list. How's that sound?
Urban Meyer.
Bear Bryant.
Bob Stoops. Did you only have one cartridge in the cannon? Did you only have one shot in the revolver?
No, I've got. I would say.
Where's Frank Boyles?
I would say. I'm picking my spots here. Jimmy Johnson.
Really?
Yeah.
It might be Arkansas. I don't know how many are from Ohio. I just know a lot of Jim Harbaugh.
Barry Switzer.
Woody Hayes.
Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll's from Arkansas.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if he's fourth on the list, I'm out. That's just fucking bizarre.
Yeah. Tommy Tuberville.
No.
Gus Malzahn.
No. We don't want these failed retread Auburn coaches. Get rid of these guys who once went 12-0 and are now fired.
Joe Gibbs. Actually, I probably should have put Joe Gibbs higher up on the list.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Joe Gibbs, Monty Kiffin.
I feel like Monty Kiffin's name has been sullied by Lane.
Yeah, a little bit. Lou Holtz.
Lou Holtz?
Lou Holtz. Let's see. Who else? Like, there's so many. I'm just trying to think now.
Why is that?
From Arkansas?
Yeah. What is it about Arkansas?
There is a strange thing about Arkansas in which you are just driven to prove everyone that they're fucking wrong. And I don't know what it is about that, but like everybody shits on that state so much.
Well, for a reason.
Justifiably so. And nobody ever succeeds in that state.
No.
They all leave and go succeed in other places. And that's but that's kind of the blessing and the curse of Arkansas.
What I like to say about Missouri is that Missouri is the confluence of so many different regions. It's the plains, it's the Midwest,
right?
It's the South. So many places meet at Missouri. And Arkansas is in a similar sort of limbo, where it's considered the South, but it was the first state to ratify the 13th Amendment. So I know everyone in the South thinks Arkansas are traitors. So it's in its own sort of limbo. It's in its own sort of sphere.
We don't claim you. Yeah.
You think people should be free? Adios.
No, I've always said this. The greatest export Arkansas has is people.
Yes, but that always seems like a very self-serving saying when you say it.
Right. I mean,
yeah.
I'm from there.
Yeah. So it always seems self-serving.
Yeah, but it's true. I mean, Maya Angelou's from Arkansas.
Well,
Johnny Cash.
J.C. Penney's from Missouri.
Bill Clinton.
Although, claim that?
I mean, he did a lot of good. He did a lot of bad, but he did a lot of. He's a president, so he's gonna do a lot of bad and a lot of good.
He worked in the Oval Office.
Every president, there's a lot of bad, a lot of good. There's always a picture with some Saudi prince, and you're like, all right, okay, well,
I was actually talking to a friend about that the other day. I was saying how so many presidents in the modern age are boxed in to doing bad and shitty things.
Oh, so many.
No matter what you want to do with your presidency, you're gonna have to do some shit.
You're gonna have to do some bad things.
It's just part of the job.
Right. To be fair, a lot of Bill Clinton's bad things were unforced.
Happened.
Unforced errors.
And then one of them was just a horn dog.
Yeah, right. Not as bad as who was the biggest horn dog president?
JFK?
No, not JFK. It was.
It has to be JFK. JFK claimed that he had to have sex once a day or else he'd get migraines.
It was Warren G. Harding.
It's JFK.
Warren G. Harding.
It's JFK.
No.
JFK made an intern give someone else a blowjob underwater while everyone else watched. It's JFK.
JFK was pretty bad.
JFK banged a girl in the pool.
Todd Davis just obliterated
which
David
is now
Johnson.
the press
Larry
room.
Fitzgerald.
He banged a girl in the pool, which is now the press room.
That's right.
While his wife was 100 feet away.
That's right. Yeah. That's true. JFK did do that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's JFK all day.
Millard Fillmore. Oh, no. Warren G. Harding. Warren G. Harding, I'm pretty sure, kept a mistress in a closet. his entire presidency.
Power move.
Like literally just said, here, stay in this closet.
Power move.
This is where you live.
I'll bring you cheese and crackers.
I'm going to come in here and have sex with you.
Oh, Von Miller wants this touchdown bad. He's not going to get it, though.
Oh,
Got another strip sack.
that is just
Get him off the field.
when Von Miller says we're going to kick their ass, like
As I said, the legend of Von Miller has grown exponentially this evening.
Von Miller. That guy fucks. I will say that.
Yeah, well, he posted a picture of a girl and was like, "This is my side chick," and the girl was like, "Just go with it."
Just go with it. Yeah.
Yep, I'm the one he calls when his other bitch is busy.
That's me.
Yep. Von Miller has swagger
Miller.
that you can't buy.
He does, man. He really does. He is so good. I know Khalil Mack's having a year, and kudos to Khalil Mack, but man, I don't know. I really don't know how much better you can be than Von Miller is.
I want Von Miller to play for the Patriots.
Well, that's not going to happen. He's gonna live and die as a Bronco. Like he's always going to be. I really do. I think whatever contract he wants after this $100 million contract he's on right now, he's going to get it. The Broncos will pay him because that's the kind of organization they are.
Is he better than Derek Thomas? Short answer is no.
Man,
Bro, the short answer is no.
I didn't see Derek Thomas play. That's my problem. Is that I have a hard time.
I saw Derek Thomas play in the flesh in that rain game against Seattle, the one that got canceled halfway through. I was there. That infamous picture of Derek Thomas sitting in the rain, I was there.
Derek Thomas, I did actually, I remember seeing some highlights of him at Alabama when they inducted him into the College Football Hall of Fame. Because they didn't actually keep records of sacks back then when he played at Alabama. But Derek Thomas, I think he had 58 sacks in college, and he only played 3 years or like 2.5 years of games. 58.
Yeah.
Somebody went back and counted, and they're like I don't even know how you would. If somebody had that today, they would not only would they be the number 1 overall pick, they could ask whatever they wanted financially from whatever NFL team drafted them.
Yeah. Derek Thomas was a different level.
Of course, your Bill Belichick says
it's Lawrence Taylor.
He says it's LT.
That's because he coached LT.
Well,
if he'd coached Derek Thomas, I think the answer would be Derek Thomas.
Field goal is good.
Our boy, Benjamin Albright, said on Twitter, Derek Thomas had better stats in fewer games than LT.
That's true. That is undeniably true. It is 45-10. This is a college football game.
It's Alabama versus Arkansas State.
Jonathan says Broncos fire. Oh, no question. No question Broncos fire.
The word fire gets moved around between an adjective and a verb with the Broncos weekly.
Jeez. Some of these comments I've been missing here. Let's see. Eric says, Ann Harding, I missed him. Chris says Bill Clinton was the biggest horn dog president. Eric says, no, I said Harding. I missed the other Harrison. Forgot there was 2 Harrisons. There were 2 Harrisons. Bill Clinton did some strange things with a cigar and Monica Lewinsky. John and Robert Kennedy had threesomes with Marilyn Monroe. Eric says, yep, till they got her killed.
The Facebook chat
chat is lit. Chris says, wasn't Bill Cowher the KC defensive coordinator when Derek Thomas was a young stud? I believe he was.
Yes, and he was.
I believe he was. I mean, do you think that all of the things that Bill Belichick saw while he was the defensive coordinator for the Giants and Lawrence Taylor shaped or warped his worldview. He saw Lawrence Taylor showing up to team meetings in handcuffs and just like doing blow off a play sheet, just like that. He was like, all right, well, I guess this is what this league is.
Yeah, have to be.
I'm going to coach some monsters. May as well just do what I can.
I think it helps him when he's with Gronkowski now.
You know what the funny thing is that we were talking about Tyreek Hill earlier. Everybody's whataboutism always brought up Aaron Hernandez with the Patriots. And I don't necessarily feel like the Patriots deserve an enormous amount of grief for drafting a player and then not knowing that he was a murderer. But like they probably held on to him too long. Like you can criticize them for that, but like saying they should have known Aaron Hernandez was a murderer, like get out of here with that. Like,
yeah, it's a tough one considering the Gainesville PD and the Florida State Troopers and all that didn't know.
Right. If the law did not know,
if the FBI is not investigating him,
no one knew. Like, of course you're not going to know.
If somebody knew he was a murderer, they would have done something about it beforehand. And I mean that is in law enforcement. Yeah. Nobody knew until it came up.
If you knew Aaron Hernandez was a murderer, you would have called the police.
Yeah. That's bizarre, but
well, that's Kansas City. All right, Josh Rosen here.
Take that 4 yards up the middle, buddy.
Oh, wide open.
Never mind.
Wide open.
Is that Christian Kirk?
That is 30 meaningless yards.
That's good for Christian Kirk's next contract, though.
Yeah, good for him.
Christian Kirk is the guy that Katy Perry wanted to bang at Texas A&M when she did the game day.
No one's going to know that those were meaningless yards on his next contract. No one's going to know.
When his agent brings up, look, 750 yards on 52 catches.
Yeah. No one's going to say it. But that bullshit versus
80 of those came against Denver.
In garbage time when you were down 45-10.
It's another fumble.
Oh. Man. The Broncos defense is just eating this team alive.
Josh Rosen.
Cardinals are going to have the number 1 overall pick. I think they're the worst team in the league.
I don't know who else is worse other than the Bills.
The Bills are bad, but they beat the Vikings. Like, remember that they beat the Vikings.
That's the NFL.
They beat the Vikings by a lot too.
Like I said, I saw a Chip Kelly Eagles team beat the Patriots in Foxborough.
You also saw a Chip Kelly Eagles team put up 17 passing touchdowns with 0 interceptions.
Hey, Nick Foles.
Hey, Nick Foles.
Nick Foles sucked at Arizona.
And that's because schematically they were doing things that the NFL was unprepared for at the time. But then they caught up to it. And then the second that they did, Chip Kelly got fired. Yeah. So,
probably going to get fired from UCLA, too.
Just remember that, Chiefs fans.
You're so mean to Chiefs fans.
Well, they're mean to me. They started it.
Did they?
They did start it.
I have a feeling you might have started it.
I didn't start it. They started it.
Escalated. It's just a hunch I have.
So it's Harrison's, Garfield, Grant, Harrison, McKinley, Taft, Harding, and Hayes are all from Ohio, if not mistaken. Chris says the NFL is turning into the Big 12. God, I hope that's not right. I hope that's not true.
I hope that's not true. I think that's bad for the NFL long term.
It is bad for the NFL long term. Rosen can't hang on to the ball.
No, he can't.
Now, big hit there by Tatum.
Football. Let this clock run to the 2-minute warning.
Let's see. Katy Perry wanted to bang our QB Trevor Knight when she was on game day. Yeah.
Trevor Knight was the one who was dating the Duck Dynasty chick.
Who is Katy Perry with? Is she with
Orlando Bloom.
That's right.
She's stepping away from her music career to spend more time in a relationship with Orlando Bloom.
She's with BDB, Big Dick Bloom.
And Orlando Bloom's ex-wife, Miranda Kerr, the VS model, who is a fucking smoke show, is with the founder of Snapchat, who's a fucking nerd. Can I get some more water, please? Thank you.
Founder of Snapchat.
Which is just proof that the world's not fair. Dude's worth like $1 billion.
Oh.
It's a good thing Josh Rosen's going to have 10 days before his next game because he's going to need all 10.
Two-minute warning. It's one of those things, one of those arbitrary things I hate about NFL games.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Well, in games like this, they should just waive the 2-minute warning.
In games like this, yes. But in close games, it ups the drama.
Oh. Well, Rosen's just, his mechanics have just gone to shit now. Nick Foles and Kirk Cousins were teammates at Michigan State. It's true.
Yeah, there was another quarterback who went pro out of those three as well. Who was it? Brian Hoyer.
Hoyer.
There's a picture of the three of them together. Thank you. Well, I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Eric says he kind of feels bad for Arizona. All right, well. All right, guys. It's just the three of us. Bradley Chubb is, he's not put up, I think that's sack number 6 on the season for Bradley Chubb. Five and a half sacks now for Bradley Chubb on the year. Ooh, I see. Rosen may be hurt. All right, well, Broncos are going to kneel it out here, and that's going to do it for us as well. Hey, guys, thank you very much for watching. And Eric, Chris, thank you guys as always. Shazad, everybody who has watched our streams all throughout the season. Chris says good show. Thank you very much, Chris. Guys, absolutely. I know that I'm not doing the daily shows anymore, but we're still doing the podcast on Monday nights. By all means, invite your friends. Tell them what's up with Phantom and our live broadcasts. Not just the ones I'm doing, but the ones that Ari does. Ari's daily show is just on fire right now, so definitely check that out every day at noon Central Time. And then also check out all the other stuff we're doing here on Phantom. Don't forget to check out What the Football, WT Football. Go to YouTube. Please, by all means, like our video. Please share the video. I would love your feedback as well, too. If you don't like the video, just tell me. You know, I don't have no hard feelings about it, man. Try to make people laugh. Working on it. Trying to get better. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will talk to you later.
His second year.